Hello. Today I want to tell you about my childhood dream career and how that panned out. I really wanted to be a pilot, specifically a small charter jet pilot. It started with recurring dreams of being a space fighter pilot like on the classic Battlestar Galactica series. I watched that show a lot, and it bled into my dreams. For a little kid, that was very exciting. If I was outside and I heard a plane approaching, I'd stop in my tracks and watch it until it was out of my sight. At age 11, I took my first commercial flight to Tampa, Florida. Of course, I insisted on the window seat and never took my forehead off the glass. At 14, a young man who became a dear friend invited me and my mom to ride along on one of his flights. He was 16 and had his private pilot's license. He rented a Cessna 172 and we flew over my farm. After that experience, I was sold on the idea of getting my pilot's license as soon as possible. At 16, I got a scholarship to a nearby university for air traffic control, and I really wanted to go. I could attend the university outside of the hours I needed to attend high school. My parents forbade me to go. They would not let me out of their sight and control, even if it set me up for a successful future. So I started requesting flight school brochures from all over the USA and planned to ask my wealthy grandmother to finance my dream as soon as I graduated high school. If you watched my other videos, you already know that didn't happen. I had to sacrifice my dream for my freedom. Still, I remained obsessed with planes. For me, seeing a private jet was exciting as many men feel when they see a muscle car. I spent many hours parked at the end of airport runways and hanging out at general aviation airports. I even applied and auditioned for stewardess positions, but didn't end up getting the job. One HR manager told me it was because I had a heavy accent at the time. These days, that doesn't matter as much, but it didn't conform to the brand standard back then. One day, my ex-husband attended a city council meeting where the local general aviation airport was a topic. He sat next to a man who voiced very similar opinions, and they ended up talking afterwards. Turns out the man owned a field-based operation at the airport, and he invited us to go flying with him. The man had two personal planes, a single-engine 172 and a classic twin-engine. Over the course of 2 years, we flew with him in both several times and developed a good friendship with him and his family. He became a business mentor to us, and he brought us in as partners in one of his many local businesses. He blessed me with the opportunity to partner in a startup airline from the very beginning. We were a private jet timeshare company. The very planes that I would drool over were now hangared on the other side of the wall where my desk was, and I could go and look them over anytime I wanted. It all felt like a dream. Then, with no warning, it ended. The planes were sold and the partnerships were dissolved. None of us suffered financial losses, but I was heartbroken. We still flew, though, mostly my mentor's twin engine. I remember the first time we took it up. He told me that twins were different because if one engine goes out, you're not coasting into land, you're going to crash. He was giving me the option to stay on the ground and not risk it. Of course, I wanted to fly more than anything, so I went up every chance I got. During this time, my husband and I separated and I moved 2 hours away. I unexpectedly got a knock on my door one day to find my ex in tears. He handed me his phone with a news article on the screen and a very graphic picture. Our mentor was in a plane crash. The twin went down in a field in front of witnesses. Once the official reports came out, we read them. My ex read the coroner's report as well. Multiple blunt force trauma. I even called the business next door to the crash site and asked to speak to any witnesses. I was told about the final moments of the plane before the crash and my mentor's condition when they found him. One engine caught on fire in flight and was unrecoverable. At first, I didn't want to fly again. I felt like I was trying to easily replace the memories that we all made together. Then I couldn't. I couldn't stop thinking about how he felt trying to control the plane, what he saw, and how he dealt with knowing the likely outcome in those last minutes. My mind put me in the plane and literally made me sick. Many years later, another pilot friend flew in from out of state to visit me. He had a larger single engine and offered to make a $100 cheeseburger run to a nearby airport. It's called that because a $5 cheeseburger ends up being a $100 cheeseburger by the time you pay for aviation fuel to get there and back. With some gentle encouragement and the often said phrase of, he wouldn't want you to be afraid and give up something you loved so much, I was convinced to climb in and go to lunch. There I sat, communication gear on, shaking in my seat with a big nervous smile. Ready? Not really, but let's go. Click. Nothing. No electronics, no start, nothing. Never mind. We needed a mechanic. I'm not sure who or what saved me by disabling the plane in that moment, but it was certainly divine intervention. The plane was repaired a few hours later, and my friend decided it was time to take off for home so he could get the plane thoroughly checked out by his regular mechanic. His departure turned out to be the same time we would have likely been flying back from our cheeseburger run, and a freak storm hit. It wasn't forecast. Radar didn't warn of any heavy crosswinds. Yet when he lifted off, it was like nature unleashed on the plane, and everyone watching literally clenched their teeth and held their stomach. If we hadn't gotten grounded, I would have been in that storm and absolutely terrified. My friend made it back safely, and I've never even attempted to fly again. I still love planes, but I don't think I can go up ever again. Don't even get me started on helicopters. That's always been a big nope for me.